right? In a president's role, you've got to be able to see your top line organizational measurements, your financial measurements, your operational measurements that tells you that your leadership group or your secondary tier of management are following and accomplishing that which you had laid out for them as a responsibility. So I know that's an abject way to answer your question, but I want to be very careful.
Okay.
People run away from too much measurement because it sounds painful.
Right.
And if you set it up right, it really should be, I've got my top 5 to 10 measurements. If I see a variance, then I go find an answer and I can quickly identify where that variance occurred so that I'm not trying to fix, I'm not doing 180 with my boat. I may need to turn 3 degrees. So the key is enough information so that you can see it readily and available to you, where you can make better leadership, better command decisions each and every day.
Before that boat hits the iceberg, not.
Amen. Not after.
Yeah, not like, oh, we just hit an iceberg. I wonder why. Right. So you're actually navigating. Yeah, that's an important distinction, I think.
I hope that answers your question, right?
Yeah.
KPIs are both financial and operational, not one or the other.
Yeah.
And it should be broad enough in scope that it tells you where to look without consuming your day. You hear the old expression, measured twice, cut once.
Yeah.
Some people, when they hear KPIs, what they hear is, oh, now I got to measure it 100 times before I pick up my saw. And I want to impress that that's not the case, right? It should be a distilled data that gets you to the point, whether it's your current system, if you're on QuickBooks or Mass 90, Peachtree, full-blown ERP system, within those critical measurements. And most of your clients, just from what you described to me, Jeff, you're going to have the full spectrum of smaller privately held business owner to the much more robust team. Even in our very, very large clients, what happens over time is measurements become an ancillary thing because people get very focused on just doing a thing, rowing a boat, having their oar in a water. So now you got a cultural issue and your measurements get lost until the president brings it up again and somebody says, oh yeah, let's take a look at that. Measurements or KPIs should become as much a cultural issue where there is true leadership managing to what is a perceived responsibility or a defined responsibility.
So,
okay.
Yeah, and that's a good segue to my next question, because with that boat analogy, a lot of the founders and or CEOs of businesses, they're the one rowing the boat, cleaning the boat, putting all the supplies on the boat, doing everything, too much stuff on the boat. So any advice for
everything but fishing?
Yeah, they don't have much time for fishing.
Which is why they bought the boat, and it's the thing they love to do the most.
You're right. They're too busy. They haven't caught any fish in a few days because they're so busy doing all this other stuff, putting the sticker on the boat.